Sa Thrift banks, they are also allowed to make investment and grant loans like the other banks. So ano nga ba yung operations for investment and for granting loans? Thrift banks may grant loans secured by bonds. Ito yung mga applicants with collateral. Collateral, ibig sabihin, assets like properties na pwede mong i-offer sa mga lenders as security or assurance sa utang mo. If ever na hindi ka nakapagbayad, yung collateral mo ang kukunin nila as replacement for payments. Grant loans against personal security. Ito yung mga applicants without collateral. Kasi dito sa Thrift banks, they grant loans whether secured or unsecured. Kasi ang main purpose ng Thrift banks is to help the local people, which is to provide mortgages. Ito naman yung loans na binibigay ng bangko for you to buy property. For example, a home loan. So with agreement, pag hindi mo tinupad yung nasa contract, pwede i-terminate yung loan at mag-demand ng immediate repayment ang bangko. Requirements para mag-grant ng loans. Copy of the latest income tax return, copy of the financial statement, and application form. Dito sa application form, naka-include yung income mo, personal information, and so on. At kapag nag-avail ka ng mortgage loan, kasama dapat sa application form mo yung address ng property na balak mong i-purchase. So dito sa Thrift banks, they are not profit-oriented unlike sa commercial banks. Kasi sa Thrift banks, they charge loans at a lower interest at nag-offer naman ng higher returns sa savings ng kanilang mga customers or depositors. Pertinent regulations on the grant of loans. Ito naman yung mga dapat i-consider ng Thrift banks bago mag-grant ng loan sa kanilang applicants. Loans and other credit accommodation. Person, company, corporations, or firm shall not exceed 15% the unimpaired capital and surplus of bank. Ibig sabihin, hindi dapat tataas ng 15% sa capital ng bangko ang pwedeng ipaloan sa kanila. Example, ang net profit is total of 12 million pesos multiplied by 15%. So, ang maximum loan base sa 15% of bank's capital is 1.8 million pesos. Total outstanding credit accommodation. Bank's director, officers, stockholders, or their related interest shall not exceed in 30% of his total loan or credit accommodation. So, hindi dapat tataas yung loan sa credit accommodation nila, which is yung amount na pera na binigay nila sa bangko. Example, may 100k na capital contribution si stockholder sa bangko, plus 200k na savings niya is total of 300,000 pesos. Multiplied by 30% is equal to 90,000 pesos. So, yun yung maximum amount of loans without collateral. At 210,000 pesos naman kapag secured or with collateral. Equity investment, yung Thrift banks, pwede silang mag-invest in the equity of other businesses. Equity, ibig sabihin, yung shares sa company like buying stocks or ownership in a business. With prior Bangko Sentral approval, Thrift banks may invest in equities of the following financial and non-financial allied undertakings. Example of financial allied undertakings are banks, financing companies, credit card companies, and so on. Non-financial allied undertakings. First difference nito sa una, ito yung mga non-financial corporation. They engage in the production of market goods. So, mga non-financial services, katulad ng warehousing companies, companies engaged in providing computer services, companies engaged in home building and home development. So, bakit kailangan mag-invest ni Thrift banks? Simple reason lang behind bank investing is kailangan nila ng profit in order to run the banking business, especially in Thrift banks. Sabi ko nga kanina, lower interest and higher returns ang policy dito. So, yung interest na pinababayad nila sa mga depositors ay doon din nanggagaling. Borrowing operation. Thrift banks may borrow from Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas by way of rediscounting. So, nagkakaroon ng process na ganito kapag kinulang sa income ang bangko. Maximum amount of loan which may be granted to the bank is equal to 100% of the bank's net worth as the end of the quarter. So, 100% ng BSP net worth, ang maximum amount ang pwedeng ipaloan. Example, ang net worth ng BSP nung araw na nag-apply ng loan si Thrift Bank is 34.51 billion pesos multiplied by 100% is equal to 3.451 billion pesos ang maximum amount na pwedeng ipaloan kay Thrift Bank. Maturity of the loan. Dito naman sa loan maturity, ito yung about sa loan payment due date ng mga borrowers. Privilege to rediscount with the BSP must meet the following qualifications. Operating in accordance with pertinent law and existing rules and regulations. So, ang kailangan ng Bangko Sentral in order to be qualified is trusted banks, kung saan at is yung Bangko Sentral dahil sumusunod yung Thrift Bank sa rules and regulations o simpleng pagsunod sa tamang operation na binigay ng Thrift institutions. Have a duly approved program of payment to meet the minimum capital requirements. Kailangan, meron silang duly approved program of payment. Yung maraming pumapasok na transaction sa Thrift Banks para at least ma-meet yung minimum capital requirements ng Bangko Sentral. All reports required by the Bangko Sentral must be submitted on or before the given deadlines. So, dapat kompleto yung Thrift Banks sa mga financial reports at nakakasunod sila sa submission na na-required ng Bangko Sentral on time or in time. Hindi pwedeng ma-miss yung deadlines. Supporting ordinary loans and loans granted under the various special financing programs of the government. Ordinary loans, example is, pag-grant ng loan sa warehousing company kung saan sila yung nag-i-store or nagmamanage ng mga market goods. And besides supporting ordinary loans, they also grant loans as funds of the government programs. So mostly, nagbibigay ng rediscount yung Bangko Sentral dun sa sumusuporta o tumutulong sa pag-grant ng loans na ang magbe-benefit is local people. Other borrowings. Borrow from the government or any political subdivision or instrumentalities. Ito yung tinatawag na government loan. At ang most common loans nito ay student loans, housing loans, and business loans. Borrow from trust departments of managed funds of banks or investment houses. Example nito, yung Federal Home Loan Bank System. Nakafocus din siya sa housing and community economic development, same with Thrift Banks. Issue commercial paper. Commercial paper, ito yung type of unsecured short-term debt. Ang main issuer ng mga commercial paper are large banks and finance companies. Other operations. So other than savings and loans, as usual function of Thrift Banks, meron din silang other services or undertakings maliban dito. And these Thrift Banks may undertake the following.